We're at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Kelly, looking at doing some siding work here. Basically definitely want the maintenance factor, the maintenance-free factor, as well as doing quite a bit of updating to the exterior of the house. So those are two real important things as far as this project goes. We are doing all sidewall siding. We will be doing a fascia overlay. We have about 3 places of fascia we have to repair first. Before we do the fascia overlay system, and we talked about that in detail, doing a drip edge replacement, and then a couple other little details that we'll talk about. Over here on the left side, we got nothing but stucco, so we'll be painting all of this stucco to match the body color. Paint colors are actually already picked out. On the left side here, all we have is basically the fascia, the drip edge, the soffit, and then a whole bunch of stucco. So that will all be addressed and painted as part of the scope of work. On this upper window box here, we're going to cut this box out completely, cut that, recess it behind the wall, and do just flush siding there. They'll come up with some other system for that cooler up there. Down here, basically what we're going to do here is the same thing we'll do on the window box on the right front side of the home. We're going to cut this window box out. There are studs sticking out of the mortar, so we're going to just reface that kind of flush with the rock, reface that with probably a 1x6, and just kind of attach that to the studs that are sticking out of the mortar, and just kind of box it off, but keep it pretty much flush with the rock as opposed to protruding like it is now. They have a bunch of wasps and everything that are getting up underneath there. It's just open, and they're setting up shop there and causing all kinds of problems. So we'll face that off, clean it up a little bit, and make it look a lot nicer than it does now. On the front porch ceiling, we're just going to be painting the front porch ceiling here. On this big column here, showed them some pictures of Karina Corbett's column on her front porch. And we're going to do that same thing on this column and one other column. So we'll use a vertical sheet of cedar mill and just make it look nice and smooth. We won't do the horizontal lap that we're going to do on the house elsewhere. Mr. did request that we do a 9 1/4 inch board instead of an 8 1/4, just for a little bit bigger reveal because there is so much siding. So this is going to look amazing. This box all cleaned up and just with vertical cedar mill is going to look really nice. Just kind of blend into the house instead of kind of sticking out like it does now. Front door we will paint red. The storm door is going to come off. The screen door is going to come off. Both this window, side light, and the door will be retrimmed in Hardie, and the front door will be a red color that is already picked out. The little carriage light we'll remove and replace that, seal it up all nice and neat when it's all said and done. So we got siding up here. It looks like those are kind of like termite tracks, but they've had a pest guy out, and it's not termite tracks. I think it's actually just woodpeckers going to town up there. And this column, kind of similar to the front column. I'm just going to basically do this up in a cedar mill select vertical, so we don't have any seams or anything or any kind of horizontal laps like it is now. It'll be a nice flush just column out of cedar mill. Then here we'll start our horizontal, kind of like we did right here. The project not too far from here. Man, I'm drawing a blank on a guy's name. He lived in Florida. J. Houston Ford. Kind of the same thing we did with his window box. We're going to cut this back and reface it similar to the window box on the left front that we described. So kind of same situation, a 1x6 to cover up any kind of the 2xs coming out of the mortar, and just clean this up a ton. These 2 windows will be retrimmed in a Hardie 1x4, and then we got a huge span of siding over here. Oh boy. Alright, we had some technical difficulties with the gate, but we got it fixed. We have no freeze board here, so this definitely will need a freeze board. There's freeze board right here, and then it basically just stops. So as a result, this soffit's kind of fallen. Soffit looks good, there's no rot, it just needs a freeze board. So we'll do that as part of the process. Again, all windows, doors, gable vents, everything will be retrimmed in a Hardie 1x4. Have some pretty substantial rot on the chimney, so that's definitely something this is a full tear off. When we tear off the siding, we're going to have to inspect that and make sure that that we're not dealing with any kind of rot and framing back there. Definitely going to need some new flashing. It looks like that's a lot of, you can see the small diverter flashing right here. but a lot of that is where the water's kicking right into the chimney. So that whole system needs to be reworked. We did speak about that wherever we have sidewall siding kind of dying into a shingle line. We're going to Z-flash that and make sure that that's tightened up a lot more so than it is now. But again, severe, kind of moderate to heavy rot around the pretty much all parts of the chimney. Got bad woodpecker issues, so you can see some mesh that was put up there to kind of cut that down a little bit. This patio cover, again, we have some soffit right here. This patio cover needs to be removed. Actually got up there and looked at it, and there's some flashing that's under the shingles that extends onto the top of this and is screwed onto the top of this. And then basically that's just the patio cover just screwed into the fascia. So we need to pull this away. We did account for that in our scope of work. Pull this away, continue with our fascia overlay and drip edge replacement, and then reattach the patio cover to the fascia and also the flashing. Shouldn't have to disrupt the flashing that's up under the shingles, again, because it's just tied into the top of this structure. Got a lot of cut up areas here. You can see this wall basically kind of like a half gable behind here. We have this facing wall with the window, and there is some pretty good rot, especially on this wall where it dies into the shingle line. There is some pretty good rot going on up there, so those areas also will have to be inspected to make sure that we're not covering up any kind of framing damage. It's pretty straightforward here, just a nice clean 8-foot wall. Some gutter removal here. We do have, it's not much, probably about 30 feet of gutter total on the house. That will all come down so we can do our process as far as the fascia overlay and the drip edge replacement. Again, more of this on the second story up there. And you can see this wall actually extends down. It actually is about an 8-foot wall. Can't quite see it from here, but it is. So that all that siding, of course, is going to be addressed. That little rake up there, that's going to be addressed as well. And then coming around to the back here, we got this little area here, this little gable above the garage. Again, the gable vent will be retrimmed in Hardie. Garage door frame will be wrapped. Electrical, cable, everything will be pulled away. As far as I know, all these wires are active, so we'll have to keep the wires as is. There's really not any kind of dead wire that needs to be pulled. So that will all be done. Fascia overlay, drip edge replacement. And then starting at this corner, this is it's about 40 feet of 8-foot wall before that front wall, the 2-story wall up there. And this is, again, all stucco. We got about a 1 3/4-inch soffit that needs to be painted, sealed up with a 50-year caulk and then painted. But the entire left side wall is all stucco. There's no siding. But we are addressing on the left side all the fascia, drip edge, and soffit. It's a little hard to see. Probably not going to see it on the video. Yeah. You can kind of see that wall. See the window there. The wall goes down. It is a true 8-foot wall. The gable, the peak does kind of cut into it, but it is 8 feet, that wall that we're looking at there. So that's kind of our scope of work. Again, 9 1/4 cedar mill select, fascia overlay, drip edge replacement, caulk, paint, and seal the soffit, and looking at basically painting the left side of the existing stucco the same as the body color. So that's kind of our scope of work. Mr. and Mrs. Kelly, really appreciate you having me out this morning. Appreciate your time, and we look forward to the opportunity working for you.